So essentially, if you are actively marketing yourself, Call Porter makes more sense for active, consistent investors. So if this is, a hobby to you, or, something that you're just kind of dabbling in and out of, Call Porter doesn't really make sense, because you need to have a consistent, steady amount of phone calls or leads coming in for this to make sense. So essentially what's going to happen is, I'll use the example of direct mail. So if any of you are using direct mail, you know that, if you're sending thousands of pieces out, you are going to get some responses. And if you can't be there to consistently live answer those, or have an assistant in your team, or whatever it might be, that's where a company like Call Porter comes in. So we're going to answer the phone as your business. So right off the get-go, it's going to seem like you have a legit assistant within your office, and they're all trained in real estate. So they know all the aspects of real estate investing, and also on the retail side of things too. So that's like another arm of our company, is we have, call answering for real estate investors and call answering for real estate agents. But right off the get-go, the seller's going to just get a feel that this is your assistant within your office. Very conversational in their approach to asking questions. They're not robotic by any means. And then when they're on the phone, they're going to process and qualify that lead, and they're going to integrate with your CRM, which in this case would be Resimpli, which we integrate very, very well with Resimpli users. It's something that our reps see very often. And we integrate with your CRM, and then at that point, whenever we basically go through a qualified lead, which on our end of things would be, gathering property information, motivation to sell, price point, and a time frame, we'll go into appointment setting for you on your calendar.
Are you guys coming up with what's a qualified lead, or is that something the investor would tell you, okay, if this is, these are the criteria, if the lead meets these, then mark it as qualified?
Both. So some investors are like, we just want your reps to do it, and send us that data. And then, there's others that essentially what they do, just depending on their CRM, they'll build out their web form a certain way, and then we just follow that web form to the T, and then shoot it over to them. And
then I know you mentioned, which makes sense, that it makes sense to have, Call Porter as the answering service if you're getting certain number of calls a month. If you're just getting one call a month, then of course, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Have you noticed like a minimum threshold for number of calls that, if let's say whatever that might be, 20, 25, 30, 50 calls per month, that beyond that number, that's where like it really adds a ton of value?
Yeah, good question. So I would say, honestly, 15 to 20 minimum.
15 to 20.
Yeah. That typically is for, newer investors might still work a W-2 or something like that. Maybe they're not pumping out a ton of marketing at that point, but they definitely don't want their calls to be missed. Because we found, just being in business for quite some time, and we process, tens of thousands of calls each month, that, realtors that are investors that fail to pick up their phone the first time, you have a very large potential to losing a deal, which is why this company even started in the first place.